Hello, everybody. This is Diogo from WSL Surf Radio. Just gonna talk about the Bell Beach event 2019 and yesterday. Uh, and I'm gonna just talk some things about it and a little controversies and some tough conditions too. It's in Portuguese here. I'm gonna talk is an analysis post-event bells, the event. So the first thing I want to talk about is what the calls for the event. Uh, Terrible calls in round one and round two. Uh, Once again, the women got the best conditions in those rounds, and in the third round too. Uh, didn't like the calls. A lot of on holds, a lot of hype for the swell to come, and the swell was big, but very mushy. Not, surfable waves, very hard surf for the the day before the final, and but tough conditions throughout the event. So I didn't like the calls. I think the women's got the best calls throughout the whole event, and I don't know why, but this is just happens so much often that not nowadays I'm just used to it. KP once again screwed up everything, so I didn't like the calls. Here the judgment. Well, it's gonna be a little controversy here, but throughout the event, I did like the judgment. I think they were doing a good job. Uh, but we're gonna talk about, of course, Medina and John and Italo and Jordy. So I'm gonna just hang my opinions in here on those two cases. But throughout the event, I did like the judgment, even in the tough conditions, big and windy conditions. The criteria was okay, an okay criteria, and had it. And for that, I'm gonna stay that here for a while about the judgment and the scores, and then we're gonna talk about the controversy of those hits later. And this tax means highlights the top guys who did good. And of course, since the early rounds, it was logical and very clear to see that both surfers, Gabriel and John, were the standout surfers. Since the first round, if you take a look at the scores for the first round, they were the best, and the third round too, and the fourth round, and then unfortunately they clash in the quarterfinals, but they were the best surfers in the contest. And another surfer that doesn't have the all this um appeal but surfed really good was Ryan Callanan from Australia. He also did a really good job throughout the event. So Gabriel and John, doesn't matter the water, were the best surfers, and Ryan Callanan did really good too. Those were the two best surfers in the event, in my opinion. So this is the judge. I'm bad calls, judgment good throughout the event, but with a little controversy in the end, and good highlights, but not good, very good waves throughout the event. The last day was good, so I give this event. If I have to score it, I will score like a 6. It's It was nice in some ways, in most of ways wasn't that good. Uh, Gabriel and John did uh, push the level up on this contest, both of them. Uh, Jordy was good too, but didn't come close to them, and even Italo didn't either. So even Felipe, he was good. He got to the final, but he wasn't a standout like Gabriel and John were throughout the contest. So now I'm gonna talk about world title contenders, world title here. So to talk about the 6 guys that I think are the world title contenders. Gabriel Medina, like I said, did really good throughout the contest. Unfortunately, crashed with John in the quarterfinals. Either one who would pass would probably would be the winner of the contest. John did, and but for the year, a fifth is an okay result for Gabriel, a keeper. So he's surfing his backhand, and these conditions for him wasn't the isn't the conditions that he's the best at. But even though he did a really good job, didn't he was it's he last year he got to the semifinals, but this is a keeper too, a fifth. John, a winner, of course, a keeper. Start really good the year in the third in Gold Coast and a first in Los Beach. Two waves that he's supposed to do good, and also the next two waves, uh, Keramas and Margaret River. He's one of the standouts and favorite surfers in both of them. He's one of the favorites in all conditions, but in those two conditions, he's very favored. Felipe Toledo, like I said, did surf okay, not his tops, I think, in my opinion, but got a second, a runner-up, and a good result. We'll keep it for the year too. Uh, his next event he can win because Kerama fits his surf if it's not too big. Jordy Smith, uh, another guy that is looking really focused for this year, and stopped in the semifinals, third place, uh, just like uh, in Goji. So Jordy is coming hot this year. Both contests that are coming suits his serve too. So the really good start for Jordy Smith. Italo ended up in fifth place, uh, and controversy in his heat, but got a first in uh, Gold Coast, and now Italo has a first and a fifth, and okay start for Italo too, a really good start. Uh, next, he's the defending champion for the next contest, so he can do really good there too. So those five, uh, those five did a really good. I know really good. John did really good start. The others got a really okay start, but none of them compromised by any results. Unfortunately, number 6, Julian Wilson, lost again. He's lost in third round, 17th place, lost to Kelly Slater. Uh, he was a little bit mad with the choice of the spot. Uh, they put them in the very slow Bell's ball, and Inky Poppy was firing. And 2 hits later, they moved the two Inky Pop, and Julian felt really depreciated by that, and he has a little uh, he's entitled to do it because he was another bad call throughout the event. So, but got 217th place, can miss, can make any mistakes anymore. Has to do good in all contests if he wants to be world champion by the end of the year. So those are the world champion contenders, and now the controversies. Here's polemic, I mean controversies, and this is a lack of professionalism of the athletes, the surfers. I put that here because I thought it was really lack of professionalism. Again, some of them, for me, we nowadays we have the forecasts like 17, 20 days earlier. So it's unacceptable for a surfer, a professional surfer that earns money with it, is in a place where everybody wants to be in. It's unacceptable for them to don't have the right board, the the right equipment overall, the step, and don't be prepared physically and mentally for challenging days. And we just saw in Bells Beach one of the, I mean, embarrassing moments in surfers uh, history, with some things that happened in the day that was the wild day, the big day, and Owen White lost his board, went to the beach to get another one. The board wasn't waxed on, and so he has had to wax the board, and the heat was on. I mean, nowadays you can conceive that, and he's sponsored by Hip Cool, so I mean, it's insane. Jeremy Flores didn't have a caddy, lost his board, had to go up the stairs like crazy to get his board. There was Italo too. He he came out of the heat 4 minutes earlier because he didn't have a watch on. I mean, if you're surfing Bells Beach, it's far away from the beach. The waves are far away from the beach, and it's windy and it's cold and it's louder. It's loud. The environment is loud over there. You can't hear anything, and you don't use even a watch, so you can know the exactly time of the heat. I mean, for me, it's too a lack of too much a lack of professionalism for these guys and some other guys too. A lot of broken boards. I mean, there are some sets okay, a set wave to break a board, but like I saw a board breaking in the inside, and then I saw the jet ski wasn't doing. They are, it was hard, but they weren't doing a really good job taking risks to getting the guys too. And for me, it was very confused, a little bit of stumble for everybody, like a shame for everybody. And you like John Florence and Gabriel Medina, the two best surfers. They didn't have a board broken. They didn't have a leash broken. They surf all the hits fit. Both of them really fit in rhythm with the ocean. So, and I'm pretty sure if one of them had any kind of problem with the board, they would. There's gonna be somebody right there on the beach with the perfect board, waiting for them, the perfect spot. I'm pretty sure of that. And the other guys, they don't have their skills, and you're yet stumbling in things that you shouldn't be stumbling against. So, guys, come on. Uh, they have to be more pro. You win money for it, so that's my opinion. The best hit of the contest and the most controversy, in my opinion, Gabriel Medina against John Florence. Uh, I'm very comfortable to say what I'm going to say right now because last event I said Colohe should have won the heat against Italo. I wouldn't give Italo the score for to uh, overscore Colohe. So now, in my opinion, Medina and John heat was really absurd in scores because well, it's all come down to the exchange. In the first wave, John got the wave, a medium-sized wave for the day, and missed the first turn. Had to scrap his board to come back to the wave, and then did a really good turn, and more 2 or 3 medium and nothing really critical turns, most laybacks, like he did like 30 for throughout the contest, but there's another thing. But he did a really good turn, and the wave was getting smaller. Didn't have that ending section like Gabriel did. So he did 3 turns, and then to end the wave, he missed the turn. So he lost, in my opinion, the two biggest turns, the most important turns in the wave is the first and the last. He missed both of them. And then the three, okay, did some really good turn and then some uh, okay turns throughout the wave, which was getting smaller each and each time. Gabriel wave was different. He was a bigger wave, set wave. He did hit a floater, upside down floater in a really good, really big wave. Most of surfers wouldn't even think, concede to do that. He did in a perfect manner, and then follow up with you know push back to the perfect spot to hit the wave, the end section, which was huge, big end session with perfect skills, no stumble, anything perfect. Two amazing maneuvers, only two amazing maneuvers, but in a set wave and in perfect manner. So I watched the year before, and John got nine, a bunch of nines, deserved nines, doing exactly the same kind of wave Gabriel did. Just drop it, an amazing maneuver, a setup turn, and a hit, layback under the lip in a huge end session. And he got a lot of nines. So Gabriel did the same thing the day after, and they prefer to give the best score to a wave, smaller flaw wave, two flaws in the wave. The, and Gabriel, no flaws, flawless waves, wave. And for me, that was wrong. And someone may say, but after this exchange, John got around another wave, and Gabriel wouldn't win it anyways. But the thing is, this exchange made Gabriel need a 8.9 to turn the hit. So that wave has dictated the rest of the hit. And Gabriel had to be waiting for a good wave to make a 8.9 and let some smaller waves pass. If he needed less of a score, he could have gone in a smaller wave and get the score. So for me, it's unexcusable. The judges awarded two flaws in the wave against the flawless wave, and they give the edge to that flaw wave. So by John. And for me, it was not a really good moment for WSL. I know many of you will say, "Oh, you're crying. I don't care." I'm not crying. It's just my opinion as a surfer and as a watcher, and that's it. No, not gonna change it by any matters. And then on, I think John deserved all. He deserved to win against Jordy and deserved to win against Felipe in the final. Not complaining about that. But that hit, judges did the job, in my opinion. Here's Italo, the last controversy, Italo's interference against Jordy Smith. Again, in my opinion, again, I don't care if a Brazilian is in it or if he isn't. Let's be fair. He didn't. Italo didn't interfere in any ways in what Jory was gonna be, what Jory did on that wave. Okay, that's a fair point. Okay, there's rules. There's one thing. We're gonna talk about the rules, but as a fact, Italo didn't interfere with Jory's wave. Now there is a rule that says you can even cross it in front of the guy, no matter if you interfere it or if you don't interfere. Okay, there is this rule. So there is, it isn't a mistake to call it an interference. My point is, in essence, wasn't an interference because when Jory turned to get the wave, Italo was already almost under him, and, and he was almost under him when he turned. He was paddling into the white water. Italo was leaving the wave. When Jordy got his foot up, stand up, Italo wasn't in the wave. So, and the trail Italo left in the wave, in no meaning, it didn't interfere with nothing with Jordy did in the wave. And most important, Jordy didn't surf that wave. He he went, he did that, he turned in the water, in the white water, and instead of surfing, trying to surf the wave, he just went out. So he wasn't looking to surf that wave. It wasn't in the end of the heat, so he was going to block the guy from surfing it. You can say that he just turned because he saw Italo almost under him, and then turned to make him as an interference. So the judges are the rule, and the judges and that rule awarded a guy that didn't want to surf. He wanted to win in a, how can I say that in English? In a immoral, not immoral, unethic matter. He Jordy did. Okay, many of you say, "Oh, Brazilians do that all the time. They dropping other guys." Okay, called interference in that too. No problem. I'm just saying that Jordy didn't want it to surf that wave. He wanted to make Italo an interference, and he didn't surf the wave. When he was in the white water, Italo was coming out of the wave. When Jordy stand up, Italo wasn't in the wave. So why screw up an amazing quarterfinal that Jordy Smith against Italo Ferreira, the champion from last year against the champion from the year before, by an interference that didn't change anything in either Italo or Jordy ways in the heat. I mean, it's a rule. isn't a robbery like everybody Brazilians say. It's not a robbery, but I think to apply the rule, you have to have a common sense, a critical sense that there wasn't a right thing to Jordy do. So I'm not blaming Jordy. Jordy did his job, but I think the judges can see that. And whether if it was a Brazilian on that or need or wasn't, I was the fact is as a surfer, as a like you paddling out to surf and you watch that scene, no one will say the guy had left, screw up the wave for the guy that was in the white water paddling to stand up. Come on. So that's my opinion. Okay. So this is a Brazilian opinion. Our no, I'm really passionate, like all Brazilians. But when I sit here to talk, I let my passion a little bit down and talk what I really feel. So it wasn't a Brazilian cheering by any means. Like I said, I think Cologne should have won the first event, but this was my opinion. If you happen with another surfer from another country, I would say the exactly same thing. So that's it. I'm gonna post the next event pre-show really soon, like 2-3 days from now. And hope you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel. You tell your friends. If you wanna write something, write me down. This is Yogo signing off. See you later.